everyone, this is a request video. Someone had requested of me. They asked, they said that their friend was getting into witchcraft, but they just didn't know where to start. So I'm doing a little video to kind of, my thoughts on if you're new to witchcraft, there's so much information out there. Where do you even start with things? So first of all, I think if you're new to witchcraft, you're seeing it out there, you're interested, you're curious, you want to know what's going on, you want to get involved. I think the first thing you have to do is ask yourself, why? Why do you want to get involved with witchcraft? What is it about it that is appealing to you? Now, this could be everything from the aesthetics. I mean, think about it, like witchy type stuff is really popular on visual type mediums like TikTok and Instagram. So is it visually appealing to you? Is that what you like? Is it that you want to feel more empowered in your life? You want to be able to cast spells. You want to be able to feel like you are making change in your life. Is it because you want to feel a spiritual personal connection with deity or a particular deity? Is it because you think it would be fun and interesting? Are you interested in divination? Maybe you love to collect crystals. Like, what is it? And there's no right or wrong answer, but I think it's important to know why you want to be involved in witchcraft, because that will help to guide you with what information you might want to pursue or how you're going to go about it. Now, I do think if the only thing you're interested in is the visuals, you know what, that's fine on some level. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I think it won't last if that's all you're interested in. But let's say you do really like the aesthetics of dressing witchy or some of the beautiful Instagram, posts and stuff, and you want to kind of emulate that with your altar. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that if you're also looking at it as a way to feel empowered or to heal or to grow or to feel like you have a spiritual connection with the universe. So I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I just think if it's the only thing, then that might be an issue that you need to think about. I think the other thing, if you're just starting out, is as much as those visuals can be really appealing, do not let them sidetrack you. Most of what you're seeing on TikTok and Instagram is purely performative, in that somebody has set up a beautiful altar just to take a picture. It doesn't necessarily mean they're actually doing workings on that altar. Some people are strictly like they just take pictures. They don't actually practice at all. And I'm not here to judge those people, but I'm just saying keep in mind when you're looking at these things that all we're seeing is a little window of something. We're not seeing everything else around. Like, for example, you're seeing me in this room. You don't see the mess that's over there. There's a mess over there and you don't see it, right? Because all you're seeing is here. You're just seeing me. So you have to kind of keep in mind that you're seeing something that's performative. You're seeing something that they've curated that they want you to see. And that real witchcraft is probably messy and probably, not as visually appealing. This is my altar over here. It is not particularly very Instagrammy, I don't think. It's okay, but it's more, to me, this is more, it's sacred space for me. And it is working space. It doesn't have to look great on Instagram. So I think if you're starting out, please don't be dissuaded by all that. If your practice doesn't look like Instagram or TikTok, that's okay, and it's probably pretty good that if it doesn't. The second thing, or the third thing I would say, is don't look at short length media. So, for example, TikTok is a terrible place to start with witchcraft. Because you're only getting these very short videos. Like, I think the longest videos they allow some people 5-minute videos. So you're getting 5, 3, and 1 minute videos. It's really hard to get context or to get anything in depth when you're looking at a short form video. I would suggest going to places like YouTube, podcasts, and books, because those are all long form, blogs as well. Anything that is long form, in-depth content, you're going to get a lot more context from, you're going to get a lot more information, and you can also feel out, do I like what this person is saying? Do I agree with them? All of those kind of things. The other problem, I think, especially with things like TikTok, is there is a lot of garbage out there. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people on TikTok who are intelligent, they have great factual information, they're great resources, like they're doing great, amazing things. But for every one person that's doing that, there are like 7 others who are just spouting garbage. Like, I have seen so many TikTok videos where it's supposed to be like a witch talk thing, but it's really just ranting, or it's somebody, they've loaded up a candle with tons of herbs that looks great on camera, but as soon as you light that candle, you're just going to set that whole thing on fire. It's just a fire hazard. There's just like a lot of misinformation on there. And even the stuff that's good, again, you're just seeing snippets of information. So I would avoid that when you're beginning. When you're kind of a little more practiced, you can go on there and kind of sift through the things that you find to be not so good, and sort of like pick out the people that are doing well. When it comes to long form type of media, like books, podcasts, YouTube, whatever, remember that nobody has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. So don't treat any one person like they know it all and you have to do exactly what they do and you have to agree with everything they say, because we're all just human beings trying to figure things out here, and none of us has all of the answers. So it's important to read with a bit of a critical and skeptical eye. I would also advise to read a variety of books from a variety of different time periods. Now, I know right now there's this thing where people are like, don't read anything before 2000. Everybody before the 1960s was racist. Like all these things, right? They're telling you, don't read this person and this person. Read from a wide variety of people and a wide variety of time periods if you can, because I trust that you probably have enough common sense to kind of weed through. If you're reading a book, a ceremonial magic book from like the 20s, it's probably going to have, say some things that maybe you don't necessarily agree with, but sift through those things. You don't have to agree with everything that you read. If something doesn't feel right to you, that's okay, discard it, because you're looking at developing a spirituality that's personal to you. Don't let anyone tell you, you have to do this, you must do this, you can't do that. You have to develop a spirituality that works for you. I will never tell you you can't do anything unless it's unsafe. I don't want you to be unsafe. I don't want you to like burn your house down or like, I don't know, ingest something that's going to be toxic. Like, don't do those things. But otherwise, your spirituality is personal and it's not up to other people to police it. The next thing that I would say is when you look at why you want to be in witchcraft, I think you have to follow the things that you're most passionate about. So for example, if you're really curious about the tarot and divination, maybe that's where you start. You pick up a tarot book, you start following like tarot, people on Tarot Tube, you listen to some tarot podcasts. If you're interested in ceremonial magic, read about that. Start following people who are into that. If you're interested in chaos magic, start following that. If you're like, what, I don't know where to start, I don't know what I'm interested in, I think a good place to start is just with some general basic type witchcraft books. Now, luckily, we live in an era where you can go into any bookstore and there's usually a whole section of like Wicca and witchcraft. Where I come from, like, because I learned in like the early 90s, all of the stuff, like my stuff is Wicca based because that's what was out there. It's become, unfortunately, very fashionable right now to bash Wicca, even though most of what people practice these days is based on it. But don't let those trends kind of dissuade you from things. I would say start with, a very basic beginner 101 type book. I'm probably going to do another video where I recommend certain books, but start with some basics. And as you read through, kind of notice what piques your interest. Like, are you interested in working with the phases of the moon? Are you interested in the wheel of the year? Are you interested in working with herbs? Are you interested in working with runes or magical alphabets? Like, just kind of notice what you're interested in and then use that as a jumping off point. So I would say read as much as you can, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube, like long form type stuff, and start to sift through like what resonates with you and what doesn't resonate with you. Don't let anyone tell you, like, oh, because I've been practicing for like 10 years or whatever, I know it all and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and you can't figure it out for yourself. No, you can, definitely. And there are lots of other sources out there. Don't let anyone tell you that they are the person who knows everything, because that's usually a red flag of like, run away. Also, if anyone tells you to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable or not safe, run away, run away. Definitely. But those my advice about where to start. Like if you're brand new and you're like, I just don't know where to start, read as much as you can, look at long form things like YouTube and podcasts from a variety of sources, figure out why you want to be involved with this and what exactly you're interested in, and then follow those threads. That's, I think, in a nutshell, what my advice is of where to start. If you'd like me to do a video where I suggest books for beginners, like people who are totally new, where to start, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching all of this, and peace and love and rock.